Victoria Ashford, 23, walks into court acting like she's checking in for a spa appointment. Phone out, attitude on full display. Can we speed this up? I have a lunch reservation, she says. Not even looking up, Judge Caprio puts his pen down. Miss Ashford, this is a courtroom. Put the phone away and address the charges. She rolls her eyes. I'm here. Isn't that enough? But her attorney jumps in. Trying to pay the fine and leave, Caprio shuts him down instantly. This court is not a payment portal. Then the charges come out. Parking in a disabled van-accessible space, tearing up the ticket, or ignoring 3 summons, contempt of court. Caprio asks if she received the notices. Victoria shrugs. My assistant handles mail. Translation. I don't care. Then Caprio reads a previous warning. She blocked a loading zone at Brown University and told staff, my family donated the library. She thinks rules don't apply to her. Caprio asks about the disabled parking spot. She replies, no one was using it. No harm, no foul. But the court has a statement from a mother. We couldn't unload my daughter's wheelchair. She missed her therapy appointment. Victoria waves it off. Not my fault. And that's when Caprio goes cold. Harm isn't just collision. It's denial of access. The courtroom shifts. She came in acting entitled. But now she's cornered by facts, evidence, and reality. Do you know who I am? She snapped. When I confirmed the citation was valid, she doubled down, then write another. My family funds this city. Caprio leans back, studying her. Officer Romano, did you interpret that as an attempt to intimidate? Yes, Your Honor. Victoria scoffs. It was sarcasm. I was annoyed. Let's hear it, Caprio says. Officer Dantes, play the body cam. Just the relevant portion. Static. Then Victoria's voice, crisp, entitled, My family funds this city. Silence. Heavy. Miss Ashford, Caprio says. Your father is Marcus Ashford, founder of Ashford Innovations. Yes. And the family has made significant philanthropic contributions to Providence. Yes. So when you said my family funds this city, what exactly did you mean? We support the community. Caprio shifts his gaze. Officer Romano, how did you take it? As leverage, Your Honor. An implied threat. Sarcasm doesn't lower ramps, Miss Ashford. He turns to his clerk. Miss Reyes, were there any contacts to this court regarding this case prior to today? She checks the log. Yes, Your Honor. 2 calls and 1 voicemail, all from a number belonging to Ashford Innovations Donor Relations. Also, an email, all within a 54-minute window after the citation. Read the email into the record. Subject, Case 24 to 10,847. Resolution Body. Given the family's long-standing support of municipal initiatives, would like to discuss options for resolving this matter quietly and efficiently before it proceeds. Hale jumps up. Your Honor, my client cannot be held responsible for her family's communications. This is irrelevant. Overruled. Influence on due process is always relevant. Caprio continues. Citation issued 9:42 a.m. First call, 10:18. Email, 10:52. Someone responded quickly. He nods to the clerk. Is Ms. Laura Bennett available? A strained voice fills the speaker. My daughter has cerebral palsy. She needs physical therapy twice a week. Wednesday was crucial. We arrived at 9:51. The van-accessible space was blocked. We missed most of the appointment. It had to be rescheduled. Access isn't optional. It's independence. Victoria mutters. It was 10 minutes. Caprio's eyes narrow. 10 minutes is therapy, Miss Ashford. Ms. Bennett, thank you. Your testimony is on the record. The line disconnects. Caprio lifts a new document. Miss Ashford, 3 certified notices. Each signed for over 4 weeks. That is not oversight. That is avoidance. Her lawyer rises again. Slower, more careful. Your Honor, considering the Ashford family's civic contributions, we request the remainder of this hearing be moved off the public calendar. Public proceedings could create unnecessary complications for ongoing partnerships. Caprio folds his hands. And that, counsel, is precisely why we remain right here, on the record. Mr. Hale, sunlight is accountability. We remain on the record. Caprio fixes Victoria with a calm, unwavering stare. I will ask you 3 yes or no questions. Did you park in a disabled, van-accessible space without authorization? Yes. Did you tee up the citation and throw it away? Yes. Did you ignore 3 summons notices? Victoria hesitates. I didn't think they were serious. That isn't a no. Did you ignore them? Yes, Your Honor. This is ridiculous. Victoria's voice rises. My family has donated millions to this city. We fund programs. We support infrastructure. You wouldn't have half your budget without us. Ms. Ashford, donations do not purchase exemptions. They should purchase respect. Do you have any idea how much my father contributes to municipal operations? Your salary is paid by taxpayers like us. David Hale stands abruptly. Your Honor, my client is... I own you. The words freeze the room. 5 seconds. 7, 10, 12. That was the moment money exceeded its jurisdiction. No one moves. No one speaks. Victoria stays at the bench, realizing too late what she said. David Hale's face drains. Officer Romano remains motionless near the wall. Then Caprio speaks, steady and low. Miss Ashford, you own nothing in this courtroom. Not the process, not the result, not me. He is my finding. The evidence supports all 4 charges. Officer Romano's narrative is credible and backed by body cam audio, fixed-lot photographs, the torn citation, the 3 deliver-confirmed summons notices, and the sequence of foundation calls and emails. Miss Ashford parked in a disabled, van-accessible space, denying essential access to a family with mobility needs. She destroyed a citation. She ignored 3 summons notices over 4 weeks. She leveraged her family's financial contributions in a way Officer Romano reasonably interpreted as intimidation. Caprio pauses. This court does not measure justice by wealth, donations, or family foundation connections. Borrowed money is not borrowed authority. Miss Ashford, your family's philanthropy does not grant ownership of public systems. Your status does not erase harm. Access is not for sale. He turns a page. I also note the earlier advisory from campus parking. That advisory was guidance, not punishment. You were explicitly told loading zones matter. You chose not to learn that. Consequences teach what privilege conceals. Base fines total $750. Unauthorized use of a disabled bay, $300. Contempt for failure to appear, $300. Administrative fees, $150. Victoria exhales sharply. Caprio raises a hand. I am not finished. I am staying $400 of that amount, contingent upon full and timely completion of a restorative accountability plan. Completed, that portion is waived. Fail, it returns, and you pay the full amount. Here are the requirements. First, written apologies to Officer Leah Romano and Laura Bennett, not template letters from your family's PR staff. Real apologies naming what you did and what you learned. You will deliver them in person if both agree to meet. If either declines, you will mail them, and the court will confirm receipt. Second, 150 hours of community service divided between 2 organizations. 75 hours at the Rhode Island Food Bank, 75 hours at the Mobility Access Coalition assisting with accessibility audits and outreach. Both will submit attendance logs to the court. No press. No photos. Third, you will write and record 2 public service announcements for school distribution, both court-approved, on access, equity, and the difference between charity and entitlement. Fourth, you will complete a donor influence ethics course addressing the boundary between philanthropy and public authority. Proof of completion will be filed with the court. Fifth, you will submit a 900-word written reflection on money versus authority. No slogans from communications team. Plain truth in your own words. Caprio sets his pen down. Mercy is not a discount. It is a contract. Additionally, I am issuing the following recommendations on the record to the Municipal Court Administration and the Office of the Mayor. Point 1. Establish an ex parte influence log for all cases. Any off-record communication attempts, including from donors or their representatives, must be documented and published weekly. Point 2. Create a donor contact firewall with mandatory disclosure. Any case involving a defendant whose family has made significant municipal donations must be flagged, and any contact from donor-related entities must be disclosed immediately. Point 3. Implement mandatory supervisor co-sign and recusal protocols. If any court staff member is contacted by a donor representative regarding a pending case, that staff member must recuse or obtain supervisor authorization. Point 4. Develop a disabled bay first escalation policy. Unauthorized vehicles in van-accessible spaces must trigger immediate tow protocols to prevent access denial. Point 5. Create a municipal PSA series on access rights featuring real testimony from families dependent on accessible infrastructure. Point 6. Launch a Clark hotline for influence attempts. Any effort to leverage donations, connections, or wealth can be reported anonymously. Every report will be investigated. This model protects the system. Over the next 12 weeks, Victoria completes the plan, step by step. Week 1, she drafts the apology. The court rejects it. It is too polished, clearly written by someone else. She rewrites it herself. Better. Officer Romano agrees to meet her at a coffee shop near the courthouse. The conversation is brief, tense, but necessary. Romano tells her, "When you said your family funds the city, it made me feel like my job was for sale. It isn't." Laura Bennett accepts the written apology, but declines an in-person meeting. She emails the court. "She named what she took from us. That is enough." Weeks 2 through 10. Victoria logs 150 hours across both organizations. At the Rhode Island Food Bank, she sorts donations, stocks shelves, and assists with distribution logistics. No press, no cameras. One volunteer coordinator tells her, "Service isn't about who sees you do it." At the Mobility Access Coalition, she assists with accessibility audits at local businesses, learns how ramp angles and door widths are measured, and schedules community outreach visits. One wheelchair user tells her, "Access isn't a favor, it's a right." Week 9, she records the PSAs. The first drafts are too corporate, too scripted. The court returns them. She records them again. Plainly, honestly, no branding, no family mentions, just her voice and the truth. The second versions pass. The donor influence ethics module takes another 3 weeks. She completes it without complaint. The ledger is simple, 150 hours logged, 2 PSAs approved, 1 firewall established, 1 entitlement interrupted. Officer Romano reports to the court. She showed up every time. That matters. 12 weeks after the initial hearing, Victoria returns to court. This time, she is alone. No counsel, no family representative, no entourage. Caprio reviews the submitted documents, the apologies, the service logs, the PSA recordings, the ethics module certificate, and the written reflection. "Miss Ashford, I have read your reflection. I want you to summarize it in your own words." No script. Victoria stands. "I thought money meant access. I thought because my family donated to programs, I could park wherever I wanted, ignore tickets, skip court dates. I thought we fund this meant I own this. I didn't understand that public office isn't for sale. It's for service." She pauses. "When I said, I own you, I was wrong. I own nothing except my own choices. Money can build a library, but it cannot buy my way out of blocking someone's ramp. I blocked Miss Bennett's daughter from accessing therapy. I told Officer Romano her job was for sale. Both were wrong. What did you learn from Officer Romano? That public servants do not work for my family's foundation. They serve the community, not individual donors. When I used our donations as leverage, I attempted to corrupt that. What did you learn from the Mobility Access Coalition? That accessible parking isn't about convenience. It's about math, ramp angles, clearance widths, transfer space. When I blocked that space for 10 minutes, I didn't just delay someone. I denied them access to medication. Time is infrastructure. Caprio nods. You stopped trying to own the system and began learning to respect it. He signs a form. I am remitting $350 of the stayed portion. You still owe $400 total. You will pay in installments over 6 months. The court will monitor compliance. As a reminder, Miss Ashford, access is not for auction. Thank you. Your Honor. Don't thank me. Thank the people who taught you what I could not. 5 months later, the policies take root. The court publishes its first ex parte influence log. 3 donor-related contact attempts are logged in the first month. all handled transparently under the new firewall protocol. Court staff report feeling protected by the disclosure requirements. The donor contact firewall is adopted across all municipal courts. Cases involving significant donor families are automatically flagged. Supervisor co-sign protocols are implemented without incident. Disable Bay first escalation is adopted citywide. Average clearance time for unauthorized vehicles drops 47%. Complaints from wheelchair users decrease significantly. The Municipal PSA series launches, featuring testimony from families reliant on accessible infrastructure. Victoria's recordings are included and distributed to 31 schools. They are not viral. They are not celebrated. They are used. And that is enough. One parent emails the court. My son watched the PSA about van-accessible spaces and asked why people block them. We had a real conversation about access being a right, not a privilege. Thank you. On a quiet Friday afternoon, Caprio finishes his last case of the week. Before leaving, he writes a single principle on a note card and pins it to the bulletin board behind his bench. Public offices are not for sale. They are for service. He thinks of Victoria Ashford, of Officer Romano standing in a parking lot with someone's wealth thrown in her face, of Laura Bennett's daughter waiting in the van while therapy minutes ticked away. He turns off the light and locks the door. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.